All right, welcome to Superman Day here on the Pops channel. And yeah, I don't know what you're into as far as movies, TV, and entertainment goes, but Superman 78 is a great little comic book series that you can probably pick up relatively inexpensively. I'm assuming there's also trade paperbacks. I will put some links in the descriptions from Amazon. You can see if any of those would work for you as well. But if you're a fan of the Christopher Reeve film and franchise and iteration of Superman, I do think that you can enjoy Superman 78. The comic book series that came out is actually a really nice continuation of what we're used to. The art is definitely in vein of keeping the Christopher Reeve. Obviously, you can see Margot Kidder as Lois Lane and a Gene Hackman Lex Luthor. This centers around Brainiac, which was one of the things that was talked about as far as being a viable sequel for the franchise. And look at, they're paying tribute to Richard Donner. Like, this is fantastic because it does say, and this is a quote from him, and this is probably one of my favorite elements of the Superman movie and why the Donner film, and both the films really stand apart for me, but the first one especially. He says, quote, "The main aim of our interpretation is to uphold and enhance a great American myth. The key to the whole concept of the film is verisimilitude. We treated it as truth." This is the whole you'll believe a man can fly thing. Like, the whole point of doing some of this is to ground it in our world and make us be okay with the rules, and everything is sort of believable. Now, I'm not saying that superhero stuff is believable, right? But in their world, it makes sense. For instance, we shouldn't see Captain America suddenly be able to fly, right? We shouldn't see Black Widow fall off of buildings and not break bones. Just saying. So he very much connected to the Superman mythos and brought together a great team and some great product that just was an amazing film that to me is one of the classics. This comic book kind of continues that. It's got a little bit of some stuff from your past here as far as Krypton or what actually happens, and then they're kind of setting it up to be simultaneous, as many other stories do. What was actually happening is the Brainiac technology from Krypton. You can see his green iteration here before we cut back to Christopher Reeve, right? And then interacting here with the Margot Kidder Lois. And the story kind of plays out pretty well. You can see Clark secretly, look at him lighting this guy's a shoe on fire. He's a purse nabber. So that's kind of how it sets up. It sets up very nicely with all the things that you would enjoy as Brainiac basically crashes to Earth. And as I said, if you're a Christopher Reeve fan, this is going to make you very happy. I think the story is very solid, a great continuation of what we saw in the first movie. This does take place between the first movie and Superman 2, so don't feel like you're going to get a bunch of stuff with Zod or whatever, and you're also not going to get something that disrupts everything and doesn't make sense with that movie coming right behind this. There is also a lot of variant covers and some really beautiful art that kind of showcases the things that we love about it. Luther is, I think, a little irritating. He definitely keeps repeating that I'm the greatest mind on the criminal mind on the planet thing. It gets a little tedious because I think it happens like 3 or 4 times. It's a little much. And I do think that is part of the Gene Hackman version that's kind of a negative if we rank his Lex Luthor versus other iterations. So it's done well because it feels like the character that he portrayed, but at the same time, it's not the best thing that we have. And now he's out on parole, as you can see here, and here's Superman checking in on him. And this is before we kind of get to some of the meat of the Brainiac threat beyond what we see in the first issue. But unbeknownst to Superman, who reaches out to Lex for help, you can see, look at the green armor right there. So I think this was brilliant. They really tied it to other things that Superman fans love and would enjoy. It doesn't totally derail anything for him to be, helping Superman out. Like, what is this Brainiac technology? Can you hack into this helmet? What can you do? I'll be listening and watching you. And he secretly got a little lab going where he's making the suit, the Lex suit. And if you're a fan of just some of the classic Superman stuff, the Brainiac is really, really spot on. I loved all of it. I love the different Brainiacs coming, and then I love the fight that breaks out. Look at that. It's dead on, spot on, right out of the first movie. It's perfect. Just perfect. All right, let me jump ahead a little bit. It's a little spoilery, but I just want to warn you because it is a little weird for like a normie fan. Is Candor is this little miniature Krypton, right? Is in a little glass jar. It's kept in the Fortress of Solitude because Superman's anyway. So that ties very much into this, and that is probably the weirdest element of everything in here. And then how will that tie to Brainiac, and how will that work into why is Jor-El actually in this comic book? And you get to see a lot more of this sort of like fantastical story that could have continued the Donner iteration. I actually got to be honest, I consider this to be a very, very solid story. I enjoyed it very much from top to bottom. Every single issue I thought was great, had a fun time. Like I said, there's a few little quirky, nitpicky things that I could do, but this is a very solid read. So all in all, I think Superman 78 is a great recommend. I just wanted you to know that there's something out there that's not going to crash the bank. And if you really want a beautiful wall book, there is just a gorgeous Superman 78 variant cover, which is this incredible pose. It's got some great artwork with Christopher Reeve if you're into that. And I can tell you what, man, I just had a good time reading it, and that's kind of a few and far between thing. But for Superman Day, I thought we should dust off a few of these that I can at least recommend. So if you checked it out before, let me know what you guys think. Appreciate you having you enjoy paying homage to one of the greatest heroes in our mythology and our comic book lore. So